Thanks, Daniel. Now let's get on with the rest of the show.
The population in the core regions has been growing rapidly over the past few years. The majority of this is due to vast rural to urban steppe migration. Traditional primary agricultural industries such as farming have become almost entirely obsolete due to mechanisation. This has led to many farmers wishing to find better occupations in the more core regions. However, they often have large families to take with them, so they travel in steppes from the peripheral to the core regions. Alagoas is a Brazilian state in the country's northeast region. According to Wikipedia, it's actually quite nice, but we bet it's a complete Well, we've got cold hard facts for you, Wikipedia. Alagoas' GDP per capita is actually $3,877. Pretty dire compared to Sao Paulo's $13,725 US. Greedy. Its HDI is 0.63, whereas in Sao Paulo, people are living like kings with an HDI of 0.87. Either way, I'm glad I'm not you. Although it probably doesn't matter, as you can't understand what I'm saying, let alone read, as Alagoas only has a 70% adult literacy rate. I bet you idiots are getting laughed at over in Sao Paulo, where the adult literacy rate is 95%. These figures demonstrate the extent of the regional inequality in Brazil. Fewer than 3% of Brazilians own 2/3 of all arable land. So why do these inequalities exist? Is it because God or Hippolytus hates Alagoas? No, it's because Sao Paulo is a core region, whereas Alagoas is a periphery. This means it does not benefit from the same socio-economic advantages as Sao Paulo. Its economy isn't as powerful, meaning the wealth can't trickle down to the lowest in society. Don't blame me, blame capitalism. To prove my point, I have with me a resident of Alagoas. So, what do you do for a living?
My children and I spend 16 hours a day farming for sugar canes for you greedy Americans to put in your coffee, like Starbucks. I also clean the shoes of tourists like you on the side for extra reals.
So, what's life like in Alagoas?
Actually not the Brazilian paradise that you see on Wikipedia. We've had 20 children. 11 of them have died before reaching the age of 5. My wife is not a hussy. We just cannot afford contraception.
So how has the recession affected you?
Well, it's certainly not as bad as the recession we had in the 70s and 80s. Those were tough times. At one point, inflation reached 40% a month. However, many of my friends have been laid off from working at the sugar plantations. I just hope those capitalist pigs in Sao Paulo have as bad time as we are having.
Lovely. That may be true though, as they're more reliant upon a formal economy than you.
Whilst you are here, mister, would you like to purchase an authentic Rolex watch?
No, thanks.
What about authentic Brazilian child? I have 9, all must go. They've got a few years left in them.
I think I'll be fine.
All the other stars are doing it. You could be like Madonna and wear clothes designed for people a quarter of your age and still look cool.
Now we've seen what it's like to live in some of the poorer parts of Alagoas.
You come, you buy, you lie!
Next, let's see what happened when I met a small boy. So what do you do for a living, sir?
I'm a stockbroker over at the Sao Paulo Stock Exchange. We're the biggest in Latin America and the 3rd biggest on this entire damn planet. Doing much better than those commies over at Hong Kong. If we broke off and formed our own country, we'd be the 33rd richest in the world. It's great. What do you expect? We're living like kings. Well, maybe except for cleaners in there. But even they're on an average salary of $13,000 a year, which is, as you can expect, much better than most areas of Brazil. My late father died at the ripe old age of 74. Atmospheric pollution is what got him. But on the bright side, my son's on the path to becoming a rich and successful doctor, studying medicine at the University of Sao Paulo. And even if he fails, he may have to suffer the fate of my other son. Well, it's not all milk and honey here. My first son, unfortunately, died from malaria at the age of 4. But I can arrange for lightning to strike twice, if you know what I mean.
Right, I'll just pretend I didn't hear that. So how's the recession affected you?
Well, I've noticed a lot of the little people at the bottom have been let go, as well as some of my friends in the corporate world. I guess it's survival of the fittest up here. It's not as bad as say you have it though. We have a lot of trust in our president, Lula.
Ah, Luis Inácio Lula da Silva, Brazil's president. He blamed the recession on blue-eyed white bankers from rich countries like those in the G8.
Yes, you people are fools, but thanks to Lula, our banks aren't as in much trouble as yours are. He's invested in large-scale infrastructure projects, creating jobs and business, cutting taxes on new cars in order to fuel Brazil's large motoring industry, and cutting taxes on good old corporations to encourage investment. He's got his priorities right, concentrating on letting us get richer, while the poorer people can benefit from us getting richer. I love that guy, even though he's a liberal. However, the recession still has slowed down the growth of our rapidly expanding economy somewhat.
Brazil is a member of BRIC: Brazil, Russia, India and China. These are NICs that have developed so quickly in past years that economists have given them their own classification. They also believe that they may form their own trading bloc. On the 11th of September 2009, it was revealed that Brazil has come out of recession alongside France and Germany. That brings us nicely onto the economy of Brazil. If facts and figures bore you, you might want to kill yourself now. Go on, do it. It's not as if you're a member of Boyzone. Nobody's going to really care. Brazil's economy is the largest in Latin America, with a GDP of 1.9 trillion US dollars. Take that, Mexico. Now all you're good for is swine flu and the American economy. Brazil's main exports include aircraft, automobiles, coffee, soybeans, orange juice, ethanol, textiles, footwear and electronic goods, such as my George Foreman USB grill. These exports benefited Brazil $397.9 billion US dollars in 2008. Like in many other NICs, Brazil's economy has moved away from the previously dominant primary and secondary sectors. This is not to say that these sectors are not prevalent, but the largest proportion of the Brazilian economy is in the service sector. In fact, the service sector makes up 67% of the Brazilian economy. The industrial or secondary sector is still important, as with many newly industrialised countries, accounting for around 30% of the GDP. The primary sector is less crucial, accounting for around 3.5% of the GDP. Great benefit has come from transnational corporations, or TNCs, investing in Brazil. We'll be back after this short ad break.
Gonçalo, já vai jogar Super Nintendo?
Calma, Dolores, eu já vou te dar atenção.
Calma nada, é só Super Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Super Nintendo, e comigo nada.
Relaxa, amor, você sabe que eu te amo.
Ama nada, antes você dizia que eu era a sua vida.
Sei, Dolores, é que agora eu tenho 346 vidas.
Super Nintendo, sensações incríveis, desafios inigualáveis, games antológicos.
Salve, sabe que quando o Timote vem aqui, ele não fica jogando Super Nintendo não, bobão.
Bobão?
É Nintendo ou nada.